Hey everybody, Bandit and Chad here with some more dirt on trucks. And today we're going to be talking about the new 2018 JL Wrangler. Now the JL will be replacing the JK Wrangler and the JK Unlimited, which is the four-door Wrangler that we currently have now. Those Wranglers did come out in 2007, and obviously they're going out with 2017 being the last model year. And there was a slight refresh around 2012 where they did receive the 3.6 rather V6 Pentastar versus the 3.8. Which was found there starting in 2007, and that's actually the kind of Jeep that I had, and mine was a JK Unlimited with the old Pentastar with a manual, and that was a very, very slow vehicle there on 35s, and it looks like this whole new Wrangler is going to be a huge upgrade over those JKs. So you're going to see a lot more aluminum components here for the JLs, and for some of those you're going to have the hood, the fenders, the doors,
tailgate, steering gear, track bars, anti-roll bars, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all sorts of aluminum components, and they're saying that'll make it up to around 200 pounds lighter, and I don't think anyone should complain about 200 pounds lighter there for a Wrangler. The JKs were fairly heavy, and a lot of people said when the JKs were coming out that they were farther and farther away from the original Jeeps. You know, those old Willis Jeeps that came out in actually during World War II. Then after World War II, they're marketed towards farmers for agriculture applications, but they were much smaller vehicles, all four-cylinder, all you know, really small vehicles. And the reason for that was they were meant to be kind of unpacked out of crates, put together on the fly, and very reliable. However, with 2007, when they came out with the four-door Wrangler, it made it a lot more of a popular choice as a lifestyle vehicle. You know, with those four doors, you could throw your kids in the back, you could throw your dog or whatever else you had back there, and it really went from more of a niche off-road vehicle to kind of filling a lot of people's voids, and became a really popular seller.
Yes, so moving on with some other powertrain things that we are going to be seeing with this Wrangler that is going to be brand new for 2018, as we said. We are still getting that 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 that is being carried over. As far as I know, I don't think the power really changed.
It's 285 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque. So like Chad said, very similar power output there. And that will still be available with the manual transmission and an 8-speed automatic. Now, it is the same 8-speed automatic that Fiat Chrysler has been using in a lot of other applications, like other Jeep products, the Ram trucks as well. But it is more or less the same transmission, and should be a good upgrade there over the, I believe it was a five speed.
I think they used that for a good while too.
Correct, yeah, for the JKs there. But that's what we will be starting out with here, at least for 2018. And then we're going to have some other power plants there coming later on, but we'll talk about those here in a second. But some other upgrades that you will be seeing here for the JL is more glass all around. They're saying all of the panels of glass in the vehicle are larger, and that should contribute to better outward visibility, which, whether you're on the trails or on the streets, that seems like a much better thing. Also, standard here for the JL Wranglers, no matter what trim level you have, you will be getting push-button start and a backup camera. So the backup camera will be displayed here on the center screen, and those center screens range kind of depending on what trim level you get. They have a 5-inch touchscreen, which is the basic one. You know, there's not very many options on available with that 5-inch Uconnect screen. But then also for larger Uconnect screens there, you'll have a 7-inch and an 8.4-inch. And both of those larger screens will have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which again should make these new Wranglers even more livable and even more daily drivable. You know, you see a lot of people that aren't necessarily off-road enthusiasts rolling around in the JK, and with all these new additions here with the JL, you would expect to see similar trends continue with more and more just average Joes just driving them back and forth to work, mainly highway miles, in other words.
So some things that are hanging around for this new JL are going to be, like we said, you could do with the original Willys Jeep, is the foldable windshield that you can put down. Now, they have made this process a little bit easier than it was with the JK, where you had to do all sorts of things, and there were multiple bolts that you had to unscrew. I believe it's only 4 bolts that you have to unscrew, and it is actually separate from the roll bar itself, so you don't have to remove any of that to put it down, and they are keeping that around. Now, something that was some issue with the JKs and probably TJs and similar ones before that is that once you put it back, and you put all the bolts together, sometimes it doesn't seal up 100%, and sometimes you do get water coming in. I believe you had that issue with your JK.
Did,
yeah. So another thing that is a welcome thing to keep around are the Freedom tops that you will be able to take off and remove very easily, the same way it seems. And
more or less what that'll give you then is just a sunroof. You know, it's more or less a T-top design where there's a panel over the driver's side, a panel over the passenger side. Each of those can quickly be removed, and then you have kind of a semi-open air experience. Now, also with the soft tops, we'll be continuing to have those soft tops. They are now zipperless. Now, again, with my JK, I did have a soft top, and the zippers were always a pain in the butt to get everything lined back up and everything snugged back up without any leaks or anything else. They're saying this new design is zipperless, so whether that'll just involve more Velcro or what, they didn't really go into a whole lot of detail there. But also there'll be a power soft top option. So they're saying you'll be able to get a 90% open air experience with that soft top, and it'll retract in a matter of seconds, and all you have to do basically is flick a switch. Now, I would guess that would only show up there on kind of the higher trim levels like the Sahara, probably not on your base there, but certainly some interesting options. But also, talking about these different trim levels, we will still have the Rubicon. The Rubicon does still come with the locking differentials and everything else that it did with the JK, and now with the Rubicon you're going to have 10.8 inches of ground clearance, whether you get there in the 2-door or the 4-door, and that's thanks to obviously upgraded suspension components and 33-inch BFG KO2 tires, which is a pretty good size. And we also thought it was interesting that they're going with the KO2s rather than the KM2s, the mud terrain there. But you know, interesting to see that, and it looks like Jeep is further adapting to their drivers, customers rather, being more and more on the road versus always on the trails. And the KO2s are a great tire and should definitely do fine there for that application.
So some other neat features that you are going to be able to get with the new Jeep JL is that you can have the option for a limited slip no matter what trim you get, unless of course you do get a locker. You can pick to have a limited slip, I guess, on the very basic, like Sport, Sport S, you know, whatever trim it is, you still have some capability that you can get from the factory. Now, in addition to that, you do have the option, which I believe is standard on Saharas, is the all-time all-wheel drive, so you won't have to mess with shifting it into 4-high or anything like that. It'll just automatically be that way, just kind of similar to how it is in a lot of the other all-wheel drive options offered through Jeep.
Correct. And also, this is basically just all of the options that are going to be available at the start and launch of the JL here in 2018. But it sounds like Jeep does have a lot of plans here for 2019, 2020, and beyond here with this whole lineup of the JL Wranglers. And one of those is with half doors. So we're going to see half doors coming in 2019, similar to what you had, you know, in all the Jeeps before. And they're saying that'll be a better off-road experience with better visibility and more of an outdoorsy experience without taking all of the doors completely off. And at least in the release photos that we've seen, they actually have what looks to be a pane of glass in the door, so you can see out and I assume look at rocks and anything else that may lay outside your door, which is a really neat option. You know, you do see little windows on the side of big rigs on their doors, which helps, you know, in visibility and everything else. But really a neat feature, and like I said, that could be used whether you're off-road or even probably pulling into parking spots. It'd help you see that line a little bit better and help you get in there, which is really a great feature. And we have some other stuff coming for 2019, right?
Right, so for 2019, we're talking about the powertrain options that you will be able to see that aren't coming at the launch. Like we said, the launch is only allowing you to have the Pentastar V6, but there are, I think, 3 other options that will be coming in successive years. So I don't remember the exact order of what's coming out, but basically you're going to have the option of a turbo diesel at some point, that 3-liter turbo diesel that they do have in the Grand Cherokee and the Ram,
right,
1500.
And in this application for the Eco Diesel, you're going to be seeing 260 horsepower and 442 foot-pounds of torque. Now, here's where it starts to get a little fuzzy. The diesel, the 6-cylinder Eco Diesel, is only available with the automatic transmission. Now, when Jeep a few years back actually said that we'll be able to get a Jeep in a diesel Wrangler here for the future. Everyone got really excited, and I think every single Jeep fan was expecting to get a Rubicon with a diesel with a manual. Well, you can't get that manual. It's only with the 8-speed auto, and that's at least how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. It doesn't sound like Jeep is working on any sort of manual, but possibly if you voice your opinion enough, we will be able to get that option here for the future. And also for 2019, you're going to be seeing the Scrambler.
Right, so the Scrambler is the nameplate that you have seen used in the past. This is going to be basically the JT that we've been talking about.
Correct.
So this is going to be, it looks like, I mean, if you get the 4-door model, which are they even offering a 2-door model Scrambler?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but for now we're just going to say 4-door. Basically it's going to look exactly the same as the JL from the 4 doors forward, and then back behind there you'll get what we presume to be 5, maybe 6 foot bed.
Correct. And then even moving farther into the future, into 2020, that is when that last different engine option is going to be available, and they're calling that a plug-in hybrid. Now they're saying it is a 4-cylinder with an e-torque assist is what they're calling it, and that'll be good for 268 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. Now again, this does kind of raise some concern for some Jeep fans, and it's not going to be, I don't think, a detrimental thing for the Wrangler. I think in this application, the hybrid does make a lot of sense. It should help fuel economy a little bit, but more importantly, it should extend your range. So one of the concerns all the time when you're off-roading is running out of gas, especially when you're out there away from it all, and longer range should be even better. And it's not fully electric or anything like that. It is just a mild hybrid system, but it does sound like it will be a plug-in hybrid, and that should also help bump up the torque and everything else a little bit, and also give you a little bit quicker throttle response there with that torque. Electric motors work with instant torque at 0 RPMs, or 1 RPM, I guess is the correct way to say it. But especially with a 4-cylinder, that should be a good thing, because the 4-cylinders in the past were a little bit sluggish, correct?
Right, the ones in the past have been sluggish. We haven't seen a 4-cylinder in a Jeep Wrangler since, I guess, the TJs is the last time that they used the JKs. They only offered one engine option, and that was either the 3.8 or 3.6 Pentastar. But yeah, in the past, I did actually have a YJ. It wasn't the 4-cylinder, it was a carbureted 4.2 liter 6-cylinder, and it had a bit more pickup, but even so, being carbureted, it was a 1989 YJ, and it was pretty slow, even so. But yeah, so I think it'll be welcome, because with the electrification that people keep on saying of these engines, will help you, like you said, with quicker takeoff, city driving, and even if you do want to take that off-road, it'll have instant torque. I mean, from, like you said, basically 1 RPM. Right,
and also another good thing, since this is only a partial hybrid system, if you're not interested in using the partial hybrid system, first off, there are other engine options, but also if you just don't plug it in, it is a plug-in hybrid. If you don't plug it in, you will be running exclusively off of gasoline power, which, does give you a good option there. But this is really good news, in my opinion, because the least power that you're going to see out of any of these new Jeeps is with, at least in terms of torque, is with the Pentastar gas V6, which will be the engine option there at launch. And that's 285 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque, which is nothing to sneeze at. That is a lot of power. It's a lot more power than Jeeps in the past have gotten, and obviously it is a little bit larger, but it should be a really, really good vehicle here. And another great thing about it is the aftermarket community will obviously be huge into this vehicle, and we've already seen a little bit of that there at LA, because Mopar actually brought their own Jeep that was decked out in all of the different Mopar goodies that you can get there directly from the factory. And one of those options is a 2-inch lift. With the Rubicon and a 2-inch lift, they're saying you can easily clear 35s and have all the flex and everything stock. And another great thing about all of these Mopar parts is you can get them built onto your Jeep from the dealer and have that included in your monthly payment or whatever else, and everything will be there under warranty, which again is great news, especially if you do plan on using your vehicle off-road, that everything is there under warranty. But that pretty much wraps up everything about this new Jeep, the JL and the JT, which will be coming here soon for 2019. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Which engine option and which configuration do you like the best? We were kind of talking before, and we do kind of like the two-door Wrangler with the gas, manual, and the Rubicon trim. I think that's a really compelling set of trim and options and everything like that. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.